This is the kind of task I choose to do when there's something bigger that needs to be done. What you can't see behind me is the absolute mess that lives in my office. Let's start cleaning this up. And it starts right now. If you have a space in your home that's hard for you to keep up with, that seems to be a catch-all, or just as a super hard space to clean, or a space that gives you anxiety when it comes time to clean it, this is the video for you. Join me today while I get this office back into shape. And let me assure you, it's going to take more than one video. If you're new here, my name's Jen and I make homemaking videos. I am an imperfect homemaker, and weekly I share homemaking videos that are clean with me style to motivate and inspire you. Welcome to my channel. One thing that definitely boggles my mind is the amount of planners that I buy and I don't plan. I'll never understand it. I tell myself in the store, I am going to take and I am going to plan the next week out, and I am going to do this, and I am going to be organized and scheduled, and I'm going to know what's next. And I come home and I look at the planner and I think, oh, this planner is so pretty. And I'll write my name in the front of it, and that's where it all ends. I have 4, maybe 5, probably more than that. I actually found another while I was cleaning that I had completely forgotten about. That just, it hasn't even been touched. It's, I don't know, time's ticking and the planner's going to be no good. So I've brought in all the glass cleaner and the furniture polish, and I am trying to get this desk cleared off so that I can simply wipe the surface down. At some point, everything's going to come off this desk and it's going to be wiped down. The kitten loves to be up here. Mocha loves to be up here. And all the cat fur really is not good for the computer. Heck, all the dust and cat fur really isn't good for me. For those of you that saw the other cat in my chili video at the end, the cut with Max and the other black cat, we did not end up keeping him. He is my daughter-in-law's cat, and it simply did not work out. Max absolutely hated him, and so did all the other cats, and he hated them equally as much. And we really decided that we were at the maximum of what we are going to have for animals.
What?
I know he jumped out of the toilet.
What?
He told her vitamin jumped out of the toilet on the floor. Oh my god.
Okay then. Are you just practicing for when you are recording? I'm kidding. Oh.
So, if you're wondering why I'm laughing hysterically here, I was sitting here cleaning, listening to Greg go on with Bella about her vitamins. Bella is notorious for not liking to take her vitamins and complaining about the way that they taste or whatever. She's been through a million different brands. And apparently last night, Greg found one on the floor, and he asked her why it was on the floor, and she said she didn't know. And he said, well, it didn't just get there. You must know. I gave it to you. What'd you do with it? And she said she didn't know. And then she went from having her vitamin handed to her to walking directly in the bathroom. And he must have heard the toilet flush. And he goes, well, what did you? Flush it down the toilet? And she goes, no. And he said, oh, that's what happened. You flushed it down the toilet and it jumped on the floor. It just, the whole thing just sounded so ridiculous, but it's the kind of stuff you hear in my house all the time. And then, of course, Trevor asked me if I was practicing recording, as, you know, basically saying that I didn't have the record on, which I did, but he just wanted to yank my chain a little bit. Okay, I think we're going to speed this up just a little bit and get through the desktop cleaning portion of this video. So if you all remember the cute little pink diffuser that I bought from the Dollar Tree, well, my $1.25 as of tonight has officially run out. I think I've used this a handful of times, maybe 4 or 5, possibly 6, and it no longer works. I tried a different cord with it. I tried adding more water, less water. It's broke. So out it goes. And I will not be purchasing another. Okay, so some of you may totally hate what I'm about to do here, but these curtains are so long, they go down past my desk, and they are always getting stuck, or you can't open the curtains, or you can't move the curtains in any direction. And so what I'm doing is I am literally chopping them off. I'm shortening them up, but no worries, because soon here I'll just take them down and hem them up, and all will be good. I think we can all agree it's probably not the best way to go about it, but I just wanted it fixed here and now, and sewing them is literally something that's going to take me 15-20 minutes on a day when I have time to sew them. The bright colored cloths you see me using are Walmart's Mainstays brand of unpaper towels. When I first got them, I absolutely hated them, but after a few washes, they've finally become absorbent. And I was sort of wondering why that was, and tonight I looked at the tag on them, and lo and behold, they are only 50% cotton, and the other 50% is, oh, you guessed it, polyester. And anybody that knows anything knows that polyester really isn't all that absorbent, so that would be the answer to my question, is the reason that they are not that absorbent, or at least they were not at first, was the polyester was just pushing all the liquid around. But I will say, now that they've been washed a couple times, they really have changed in the way that they absorb liquids, and it really did do a good job washing my TV screen and my desk and everything. So I am happy with them. I just really didn't think they were going to be, I really didn't think they'd have any polyester in them, but they do. All I could think when I was making these cuts is that I hope that I didn't have a cord somehow looped up in behind here and I didn't chop one of my important cords off. Look, I told you guys it was a mess. You didn't think I was joking, right? All I can say is the ribbon that you see knocked over, I did not do that. The cat did it. And all the stuff thrown in here, it's a combination of having put the wall up and, things from Christmas. Even though I cleaned up after Christmas somewhat, it's been piling up for a long time. This office really needs a lot of organization. Now that the space is clearly defined, it needs a ton of organization. It needs more shelves. It needs so many things. It really does. And if you look at me right here, I am completely and utterly overwhelmed. My very first mistake in cleaning this room tonight, and you will notice that, is I did not bring a trash bag in with me. My other mistake in this room is there's no trash can in here. So both of those things, the trash can I need a trash can in here. And I really don't know why I didn't just go get a trash bag. It would have made things slightly easier tonight. I am putting this planner under my laptop, saying to myself that I'm going to use it. Ask me in a week, though, if I actually use it. Do you think I will? Well, we'll see. And in looking at this big cutting mat, I'm thinking that I need to hang it up on the wall so I have access to it. But the thing is, I tossed my nail into a box, so I'll have to find something else. I don't know why I tossed it in there because I knew I would probably end up needing it. So yeah, that was another mistake that I made. I shouldn't have tossed those in there, but it actually ended up working out because I actually found hooks instead, which are far better. I will tell you straight up, I am not going to be rushing to drywall this wall that we put up on the office side. I'm maybe looking at doing some pegboard on some of it and some other things. I don't want to jump into anything too quickly because I'm not sure how I want to organize and how to best use the space. Right now, as you can see, the space is not being used completely wisely. There are better ways to organize things, and it's going to take some time for me to kind of process and slowly figure out what I'm going to do with the wall space that I've gained. But later on in this video, you will see that the shelf that's in the background, I did swing it around. The thing is, I'm not so sure that was a wonderful idea or not, but time will tell. I'm going to live with it for a little while because it took everything I had to move the thing, and it also got some stuff off from it and to where they should be to begin with, such as my heat press. Obviously, I can't use it if it's on that shelf, so I gave it back to its original home, which is the little gray stand that you see that's blocking off another shelf. So in a way, things did sort of work out, but that's coming up later on. I'm not sure if the camera was angled properly so you can even see me move that big stand. I will tell you, that was not fun. But yeah, I'm going to move some of the stuff around, get it out of the way, because the plan is obviously, in this video to move the big shelf. I'm sure you've all heard the saying, it's got to get worse before it gets better. Well, let me assure you, that's what's happening here and now. It is going to get way worse before it gets any better at all, because everything is getting stacked up and just moved around. Typical of me. I'm sure you're all getting pretty used to it, but yeah, it's going to get a lot worse. And as I guessed, the camera angle was wrong. I thought it was up a little bit more, clearly not. Probably better that it's not, so you don't see the horrible faces I was probably making. And I decided to take the fabric basket down off the shelf because it was weighing it down. Later on, you're going to see me take the heat press off because that thing is super heavy. And I was finally able to move it a little bit better. But I will tell you, for some reason, when this shelf was made, there are no sliders of any kind underneath it, so it was dragging on the floor, and I'm pretty sure I put a pretty good scratch on the floor, but it is what it is. So I probably should have just emptied the whole thing off and moved it, but why do that? That would have been way easier, right? And you know me, I like to do everything the hard way. For some reason, it was sliding this way fairly okay, but when it got to the other side, there was no real room, and I'm telling you, it gave me a really hard time. And as far as the flooring, I am not overly concerned about it because our plan is to have wall-to-wall carpeting put in to the office and living room in the hallway and up the stairs. So this flooring is very much on its way out because we need the insulation of the padding and carpet so these floors are not so cold. And it was right here that I realized that, maybe, just maybe if I move the heat press, it would be a little bit easier to move the shelf. Oh, and guess what? It was easier to move. Just think if I had actually unloaded the whole shelf. Because the cats like to climb up in my fabric and take a nap, I decided I would just kind of cover it over with the fabrics that I don't care quite so much about, so that if I do find them sleeping in there, it's not a big deal. I also have to say I did end up having to cut a ton of this video out for the simple fact that the angle of the camera was so terrible that I really felt it was unfair to leave you guys watching the lower half of my legs throughout a super long video. The printer that I'm moving is the printer that I use for sublimation, and it is completely clogged up. It has been sitting for approximately probably a year and a half since it's been used, and the ink that's used in sublimation printing tends to clog pretty easily in these printers, so I am going to have to work over the next probably couple of days to see if I can get it unclogged. If not, I'll have to run a couple of power flushes through it, and that thing will need to be repaired. because the crappy thing about the Epson printers is even though you can print for a very long time with them, they are not intended to sit. In fact, I even had a problem with my other printer, which is an Epson, which does not have sublimation ink in it, that the yellow ink does not get used all that often, and it completely had clogged up. I had to run a power flush through it, and it used up a ton of ink power flushing it. I will tell you that this is not one of those videos where everything is going to get finished and everything's going to look great, perfect, and wonderful. If you notice some of the stuff, I'm just sticking back in the bags because it's basically all the same thing and it's together somewhat. That is not the answer, though, and I know it, you know it, we all know it. This stuff has got to be organized in a way that it's much easier to find, and shelves and things of that nature are going to be the answer to that. Bags and boxes and, you know, these kind of bins where everything's just kind of shoved in there, they are not the answer. Right now, I'm just trying to get things somewhat picked up and gain some space so that I can do some real organizing in here. And here we have another planner that I thought would be such a wonderful idea to buy. I may actually just gift this one to somebody in the family that needs a planner because I certainly don't think I need more. And I don't know what I was thinking. I thought this box would fit into my cube shelf, and lo and behold, it did not. So I'm going to have to come up with another plan for all my vinyl. I probably should just take it out of the box and put it on the shelf, but I'm kind of afraid the cats will get after it. And here's where we go back to that issue where I should have had a trash bag in here and did not. For some reason for me, when my kitchen is a mess, it's very easy for me to walk in and just clean it up because I have a specific way of doing it. But when it comes to me dealing with my craft stuff and my office and the things that are in here, my anxiety goes through the roof. I don't know why, but it just really, really does. Just one of those things, I suppose, and probably where the room is a catch-all. Even the boxes that end up in here and the totes are legitimately catch-alls. Another issue in this room is this black rug has got to come up. This rug does not vacuum well. It is horrific. disgusting, gross, all the things. And it would be okay if it were in a space where it could be picked up, shaken out, and washed, but here is not the space. And I'm going to have Trevor tomorrow help me lift the desk, and I'm going to pull this rug out from underneath it, and I am going to take it out of this office. I'm always wearing slippers anyway, so it does not matter if the floor is cold. Actually, I should say, normally I'm always wearing slippers. For whatever reason tonight, I'm not. So, there's that. And I am searching out some hooks because I want to hang up my cameras and my mats that I have so that they are up out of the way but still accessible. And unfortunately, I did not think to re-angle my camera again. So I finally did come across a nail in my tool bag and was able to put it up so that I can hang all my mats off that nail, which makes it much easier for me to find the mats that I need than having them shoved in some random corner. I also found tonight all my canvases that had been missing for a month. They were where I thought they were, but they were buried under a bunch of other stuff, so that's good as well that I found those. And once I get everything organized, it'll make things a whole lot easier and make the space so much more functional. So one last thing to hang up, I decided I would put my tool bag up there so it'd be easy to find, because I am forever looking for the thing when it gets shoved into this office. I figure if it's up on the wall, there's no missing it. So I will be back tomorrow, and hopefully we can finish somewhat organizing this office until I come up with a final plan. Until next time, happy cleaning, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.